Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Astronox. This is my first account, and I'm gonna be doing the Mystic Pool Rotation review first for the current week and the next one, and after that I'll go through the top 100, like the arena meta for defense. So yeah, let's just look at it before a lot of heroes get nerfed, and yeah, some get buffed. So that's a lot of exciting things to look for. So let's go check those Mystic summons. Now we don't have Apocalypse Ravi, man. She was supposed to show up, and I was planning to pull on this. Well, not this one actually, because my third account I lucked out and got Bell and Season from a daily summon, and I have Epic7 Scepter. But if I have to give my thoughts, review this thing, we've got, this is the current one, and then this is the next one. So here we go, boys. Let's start with the 5 stars. So of course ML Cecilia, she's really good. You might not need her as much as Apocalypse Ravi. If you need, well, a knight that can carry Aureus and annoy the enemy team a lot with provokes. If you have, I mean, Elbrus Ritual Sword is even more cancerous on her than Aureus. If you can have another knight carry that Aureus, that'd be better, I would say. Well, not a Charles. Charles would need Elbrus too, but you don't see him that much. Well, right now in the meta. But this barrier, I've reviewed her quite a few times, but the barrier is really good against, especially like cleaving. Like if it could allow you to survive their turn 1 cleave, and then the constant barriers that are being applied on the hero with the lowest HP on your team every time she goes gets pretty annoying, and it scales off her max health, so you can make her like with like really like fat HP and like get her some speed too. Skill nullifier, just basically you take 0 damage from however it would have hit you for 1 hit. And it's team wide, really good stuff. 5 turn cooldown, the soul burn's really good. But yeah, the provoke at 100% chance, man, for 1 turn, that is really annoying. She can lock out a hero with that thing. So in terms of stats, like she's gonna need a lot of stats though. Champion Zerato, low survival, but his kit is interesting. But it's like, yeah, you're like immune to stun and sleep. That's really good. It's just kind of too squishy for PvP. For PvE, I mean, Azimanak Hunt with Ilus Violent, you could use him in other hunts. I mean, like Golem, you could use him, but I would say that using a fire hero is a much better idea. It's much easier to gear for. It's not 100% chance on this thing, it's 75%, and 2 of the strongest debuffs, and the transferring is good, but if you have the decreased hit chance on him, yeah, if he misses, he's not gonna transfer. That's what I've been hearing. So I mean, yeah, but the thing is, as soon as he gets hit with a debuff, he counterattacks, which is really good. Like it's not like counterattacks when attacked while debuff. Actually, yes, because the debuff gets applied before the damage is dealt. I believe that's why it's working like that. So they land a debuff, it deals the damage, and then he counterattacks. So that's really cool. And yeah, you just transfer 1 debuff. Very annoying. If he can stay alive, like you would have to make him pretty tanky. But like if you have Aureus on your team, if you have a Crimson Armin to reduce the amount of crit damage your team takes, well, she's gonna get nerfed. So we'll see the amounts after that. Bell and Season. In Europe, he is really annoying. Like if you're using him in a cleave, of course he's got some really powerful debuffs. The unhealable can come in really handy. Not only because, well, they cannot heal when it's applied, but it's because it's the last debuff. They are applied in the same order as you're seeing it. So you have, if your cleanser can only cleanse 1 debuff, it's gonna remove decreased speed first, and then it's gonna be decreased defense, and then it's gonna be unhealable. So when you have this unhealable last, and you're using, let's say, Angelic Montmorency against a team with Bell and Season, what happens is that you're just not healing. You're cleansing the debuffs that are before. And if he has Syra Ren or Abyssal Crown, man, well, it's like you get like a bunch of stuns going off on your team. You're getting hit with sleep, with stun. I mean, he's really annoying. If you that's definitely a weakness on like Angelic Montmorency dealing with Balance Season. Then you've got the decreased defense, so I mean you could use him in a cleave setup, and yeah, it's really strong. And then if you kill someone with this thing, the cooldown of this resets. That's beautiful. 5-turn cooldown, 3 on that one, soul burn to increase damage of this one. And this is poison. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but poisons 5% of the target's HP. It's quite strong, actually. I mean, in the Abyss, and well, there's a lot of bosses, like the raid bosses, they're immune to poison. The Automated Tower, the bosses are immune to poison. So, yeah, you can't cheese that much with it, but it's good. So I would say he's a good hero, but you could bring him in Golem 11. Like, he could be your... I think in terms of like usability, I would give this hero a 4th position. Like, he wouldn't be your priority, your slot number 1. I would say he could be part of a speed team. I mean, they could be part of a speed team. So, like, maybe you don't even have any sustain, you just control the combat readiness of the golem. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, another thing I noticed is that I will build him for my Europe account, but Balance Season actually is part of some really high morale Labyrinth team, so you should check this out. Like, if you're sitting on this hero, and you should check in a Labyrinth morale calculator, and maybe if like you're like in the 30 morale on your best team, maybe Balance Season could, could be that hero that you could incorporate with another core of 3 heroes, and that could be the hero that brings your team to a like close to a 40 camping morale, or maybe in the 40 camping morale, and something like that. Maybe you're in the 20s and you're gonna be in mid 30s, and that's really good. You can get your raid cleared in 3 runs, which is very good, and that's a strong hero for that place. Those debuffs, I mean, they are quite helpful, and ads getting killed with this, resetting this, it is definitely a beautiful thing to see. Okay, so of course Silk, she's free, so that's a rip. Corvus, they don't touch Corvus, very good. Insanely tanky, can sustain himself. He can hold your arena defense. If your whole team's dead, he could be the one like just holding your arena defense, and the lightning damage just ticking away at the enemy team, and they're just like ripping one after the next because they can't kill him. They just can't kill him. So like you could even have like a cleave setup on defense with like Corvus as like the last man standing, like some like backup plan. You could use Corvus for Golem 11. You can use Corvus in the raid. You can use Corvus and wherever in 11. You can use Corvus in a bunch of places. Very solid hero. Transferring debuff, that's strong. And the decrease of combat readiness, I mean, after skill ups, this is what is it, 30% reduction, and then when you have this running, oh my god, it decreases the combat readiness twice. 2 chances, and you're getting fighting spirit when attacking or when you're attacked. The defense is just like the defense buff plus the healing from this thing. Just those 2 things make him like really annoying to deal with. But then you add the fact that he can decrease combat readiness, so he's gaining more turns. You slap a Durandal artifact, 5-star artifact on him. He's getting a lot of turns, man. You've got some, maybe on your team, you're attacking him in PvP, and you have some healers, and they're not gonna do any damage, but every time they attack him, they're gonna trigger Durandal, and so you kind of want to like use other skills than attacking him, because it's gonna give him more combat readiness. And I mean, you counter him with unhealable. If you don't have it, that's pretty much a rip in a lot of cases, which is yeah, it's quite unfortunate, but yeah. And if they are at 0 combat readiness, it stuns for 1 turn. Quite insane skills with defense. And if you control Corvus, I mean, the recovery is double, so he's kind of immortal, which is really ridiculous. It's 20 souls, but yeah, anyways, I talked a lot about him, but I feel like he's probably like one of the, well, top 4-star here, and even, yeah, top 4-star in the game right now, if they leave him as he is. And Ren, you can use her. Azimanak Hunt, she's quite popular there. You can go check team compositions in there. You can use Ren. Yeah, you could use her in Banshee too. But there's a lot of randomness with which buff you're gonna be getting. But this is on a 4-turn cooldown. And the soul burn is only 10 souls. So you can get a lot of buffs going on your team, which is really good. So I mean, 4-turn duration, 4-turn cooldown. That's strong. That's strong. Silk is very good too. I mean, you might need some memory imprints. Zerato, well, memory imprint for champion Zerato. Zerato is not terrible, but I mean, you don't see him being used too much. He can definitely be used. Like pretty much all characters in the game can be used effectively. It's just not that they're not gonna shine in multiple areas of the game, so it's kind of a waste of materials if you invest too much into them. So that's what you have to think about. So Hilag Lance just gives you a bunch of combat finesse whenever someone else gets attacked with a single attack on your turn on your team. It's a solid artifact. Wondrous Potion Vial is amazing. If you max this out, it's 100% chance to remove a debuff from an ally on your team. Very, very strong. You see it a lot in PvP, and it's extremely annoying to deal with. When you want to land that defense break, and that's the debuff that will allow you to like kind of burst down this healer in like Guild War defense. Oh my god. And this thing is just constantly removing that defense down when it gets applied. Just one situation there. Moonlight Dreamblade, a powerful artifact, especially for Violet. Yeah, the 4-star hero, maybe you need Falcon or Clary. Maybe, I mean, Angelique Montmorency, she is a godsend. She's helping a lot of players out there. You don't need Angelica, she can be your frontliner and Wyvern 11. You can make her tanky, and I mean, I did use it even on a non-ice team. Like it was, what is it, Fire, Dark, and Angelique Montmorency in the front line tanking. But there was a Catus for Wyvern 11. That was just a fun team in Europe because I'm farming Golem 11. I'm not working on ice heroes. Memory Imprint for Helga if you want that triple S8 speed. If you want turn 1, if you want to win the speed battle. And yeah, let's move on, man. I think I talked enough on that rotation. Oh my god. At least I don't have to talk about the Moonlight heroes. Well, rip ML Ravi for now. Tenebria, she's a very powerful hero. You see her in cleave teams. You can use her in Azimanak Hunt with Ila's Violent. I mean, she's gonna melt those ads. I mean, that's very powerful. The defense down, of course, is quite helpful. And then you gotta increase attack too. You don't even need to have an attack buffer on your team. And the combat readiness reduction as well, that's quite helpful. She's a solid hero. And maybe you need her. Maybe you need to land those defense down. Maybe you need her for Azimanak Hunt. I'm not sure how much morale you would get with her in raids, but I don't remember seeing her in top teams like with my roster anyways. Okay, so and the chance to land defense down is 75% chance. It's not amazing. The damage dealt increase with soul burn of 10 souls is good. 75%. Like if you're running a cleave, let's say you're doing you have Vildred, right? He's earth, she's fire, so you're covering 2 different elements. to me, that's better than a Bellona and Vildred, because you've got double Earth, and that's a big weakness, because if you're fighting fire heroes, you could be in the struggles. So keep that in mind. Time Matter is actually a very good artifact for her in Azimanac Hunt, by the way, because, well, if she kills an enemy, which, like, she's gonna be melting those ads, she will get her cooldown reduced by 1 turn, and it will increase the attack of her next attack. Plus, she's got the attack buff on skill 3, so together it could, like, she will do really good in there. So a great combo, like, together. And before Azimanac Hunt, you don't really see mages running this artifact, but now, yeah, that's a good artifact for Azimanac Hunt, so just remember that. I mean, you can use it for farming too, but that's where it really shines, I guess. And yeah, so maybe you need memory imprints for Assassin Coli. She is not really used, but the combat readiness reduction on her is great. It's great, and she can hide. She can go in stealth and be annoying. Can pick off your targets. Like, I would see her like shine in Guild War, really. It's just that she's not gonna be too useful outside of Guild Wars, so she's kind of niche, and she's not worth your resources in early and mid game. I would say more in the late game, and she might need a buff. To be honest, I have not looked at her skills in depth with multipliers. I think she can do quite well, like in a niche like Guild War, again, especially against fire. And yeah, you can shut down a target. That's the thing, you can shut down a target with the combat readiness reduction and the stun. I mean, you are gaining, like, if you use that just before the fire enemy goes, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're fire, could be ice, could be dark, could be light. You could basically reduce their combat readiness back to like 0 or close to it, and then stun them. You're gaining 2 turns on them. Like, they've been shut down for 2 turns. That's really powerful. But yeah, that's kind of niche though. But it's powerful still. Rose, very good in a cleave team. You can use her as your frontliner in Wyvern 11. You can use her in cleave team. Not only she can carry Aureus, not only she can keep like your Vildred or whatever your cleaver is alive with this and remove up to 2 debuffs. She boosts combat readiness, she boosts, increases attack of your whole team. So, like, very powerful kit. And then she can mess up the enemy with the provokes, and then she increases her defense when she's below, I believe, 50% health. So an amazing hero. Maybe you have Shadow Rose, you need memory imprints, but Rose by herself, I mean, she's part of a lot of cleave teams that I just cannot survive against in Europe. I don't have Crimson Armin. She's gonna get nerfed anyways, but we don't know the values anymore yet, just yet. So I can't just like speculate. I mean, I just feel strongly that she's gonna get nerfed because she's everywhere, and 30% reduction of crit damage is kind of too good, and she's too hard to obtain, and she enables so many different just defense setups like Arena or Guild War. Too strong for a 4-star hero especially. But yeah, memory imprint, defense increase. It's just the combination of it's just so many things, like combat readiness boost, the attack increase. This is a plus. This is just icing on the cake, but just these 2 things together. Plus she carries Aureus too. Very strong. Armin, she shines in early game to mid game mostly, but she can be so tanky, and her kit covers a lot of different things. I mean, you've got team-wide barrier, team-wide healing, and they both scale off different things. The barrier scales off the caster's defense, and the amount recover scales off of the target's max health. That means that you can go crazy with defense on this hero, and it doesn't matter because the healing scales off the target's max health. Then, I mean, the cooldown on this can carry Aureus, of course. Very good there. Plus 2 souls, and then 4 turn cooldown. Plus skill cooldown decreased by 2 turns with 10 soul for soul burn. This thing is very powerful. Like, decrease hit chance. I mean, you need skill ups to bring it to 50% chance, but it's AoE poison for 3 turn, potentially decrease defense for 2 turns, and it increases the defense of Armin for 1 turn. But like I said, early to mid game is where she can shine. All the way to Golem 11 you can use her, but she's not fire, so I don't really recommend investing in an Armin if you're planning to farm Golem, because I mean, you should spend your resources on fire heroes that shine there. And the stunning is quite annoying, especially when the enemy's debuff. The chance goes up, and you can, in the abyss, Armin is amazing too. So yeah, and I did use Armin in quite a bit of battles in Guild Wars on my second account. It's just I didn't showcase her really because the account is kind of in the struggles in term of gear, and the progression is not as good as I would have hoped, but it's still like doing quite well with a lot of Skystones left. Anyways, I'm sidetracking. She's free, Maya. So that's the thing. It's too niche. Great, yes. Great, but early to mid game, and kind of niche too. Now the artifact, on the other hand, Syra Ran, those debuffs very annoying. They can't resist it. Can't resist if it gets applied by an artifact. Of course, if they have like debuff immunity, they can. And yeah, defense 10% increase for your whole team, and then damage being redirected on to the carrier of the Aureus between 10% and 20%. So 15 at 15 and 20 at plus 30 enhancement. Just an amazing artifact, and if you can get multiple copies to fully limit break it, that's amazing. And Strike Gauntlet, bunch of effect resistance kind of for free there just for wearing it, is definitely quite amazing. If you're looking for some super high effect resistance, yeah, you slap that on a warrior, get it to like plus 30 later down the line. But that's a solid artifact if you're stacking effect resistance, and just like be super annoying to deal with for the enemy team. Can't land a debuff, and I mean, you've got Judith here. You see a lot of Judith paired with Rose in speed teams, but I would not recommend that you tunnel vision speed. Not anymore. I mean, yeah, there's too many like there's too many counters showing up, you know, like just ML Bell alone. That's, especially if you're running dual combat readiness boosters, he's gonna just like sleep you in between, and that's it. Good game right there, just from one hero, and he's pretty dominant in I mean, a lot of players have ML Bell. You see him even in the lower leagues. You start seeing him a lot in Challenger, on Global. Of course, on a newer server that wouldn't be the case. This review is actually really long. Mukacha, don't really see him used that much, but he's not bad. I mean, you got 8 speed memory imprint. You've got, yeah, he boosts his combat readiness. When he uses that, scales off his speed. Keep on increasing his speed every time he goes, and stacks 5 times, and that's a 2% if you do the skill enhancements, right? Yeah, wait. Yeah, 2% total. So that's 10%, and it works on your, like, on top of everything. If you have speed buff, 30% increase of speed, and it should work after all that. Multiplies everything. So this is quite powerful. This 4-turn cooldown, 100% chance to decrease defense and increase of the target, and increase your speed by 2 turns. Scales off of speed. I've seen some Mukacha hit really hard, and if you need that decreased defense, and you want to like single out a hero, make sure he goes first, pop that, and then you like just destroy that target. Not bad, not a bad hero, it's just he doesn't shine in multiple areas of the game. So yeah, Gina, don't really see her being used too much. You could use her in Wyvern 11. She has some strong debuffs. I mean, decreased hit chance is very powerful, and I mean, it doesn't work on a hunt boss. If you land this debuff on them, they cannot miss. They cannot miss you. So remember that. And also they're like immune to it, but like the debuff is gonna stick though. It could count as a debuff if you're trying to get 3 up against Wyvern 11 to greatly reduce his damage. Well, there's that. It's just the cooldown. I mean, it's not bad, 3 turns. But the chance though, the chance is 75% chance. I don't like when it's not 100%. And then like she needs some investing into, because yeah, you need to Molagora. I mean, she's gonna get a specialty change later down the line. This is 50% chance to decrease attack, cuts their attack in half roughly, and then decrease speed is 30% reduction. It's strong, both are AoEs, so if you're fighting multiple monsters, that's very strong. I feel like Jenna, you're gonna see her more, like, I don't know about her stats, but like, let's say if the automated tower wasn't ridiculous and the floor 91 plus, like she could be really good to control the edge, just control, like reduce, really like reduce the amount of damage that your team receives, because those like decrease hit chance plus decrease attack plus decrease speed, those are very strong debuffs, and you could just try until you land those debuffs, and more debuffs, more damage. But I think she's mostly for a like in the role of like just debuffer mostly. I don't think her damage that great. Ether, I mean, he was buffed. Just a solid starter healer. If you have Guider Ether, that's memory imprints. Oh man, I need to move on to the arena meta. This is like so long. And final thoughts, 3-star artifact, nothing insane. That was quite in depth. That was quite in depth. Yeah, I covered pretty much everything here. But yeah, she's the dream. She's the dream. So 2 more weeks, right? And then we've got ML Ravi. So let's move on to arena real quick. Let's look at this ranking. We've got 4 days and 3 hours left on global. We've got previous season ranking here. That's cool. So yeah, that's gonna be this ranking right there. So I guess I could scroll through this thing real quick, just like get it up to top 100, and I'll go down real quick. But because they changed their teams, they might want to drop, but it doesn't look like it. I think they're pretty serious about their defense here. You see more martial artists Ken, I think. Arbor Villager is too crazy. I mean, he's getting nerfed. If not, well, Gisario, props to him. I mean, he doesn't use too many Moonlight heroes. Not even using Crimson Armin. I don't know where he's ranked right now, but we'll try to look for him. But yeah, he knows it's coming. And Mel Cecilia, she's a solid replacement, to be honest, to Crimson Armin. Now, if we check, most players will be using Crimson Armin. Samel Bell, Corvus showing up more. Charles, really good, and those counters with Elbrus Ritual Sword, oh god. Oh god. Dizzy is still being used a lot. Crimson Armin. Not here. We've got Corvus and martial artist Ken. God. Crow. Man, I wish I got Crow somewhere. Especially third account. But I mean, one day I'll get him. Such a solid hero. Okay, let's go down faster. See a lot of ML Bell, Crimson Armin, Ruel or Destina. You don't see Ruel and Destina paired together too often. Dark Corvus, oh. Martial artist can, I mean, if you can make him survive, I mean, they sometimes build him for damage, sometimes they build him like super tanky. Like, if he's built for damage, you can nuke him. But if he's built tanky, you kind of have to ignore him. Speed team, Watcher Shuri. The Arbiter Villager is ridiculous though. It's like when you're fighting that team, you're like always like, oh man, I have to deal with this Arbiter Villager. If you don't have like a pure counter, like you just do it and he's dead. Like you use a little bit, or you use ML Loss with Chaos Axe, or you use ML Lots with Karen. Or Bloodblade Karen. Use Ken with skill 2 Soulburn into skill 3. And there's a few counters, but just for like one slot, that hero like is really annoying to deal with. And then if you don't bring something to deal with the fact that they can resurrect, will like whoever can resurrect. That is, oh my. Like if you kill him, he comes back, and then if you kill him again, he potentially gets resurrected if you haven't dealt with the rezzers on their team. Real cancerous. Okay, let's look at this thing. But I mean, there's still quite a bit of time left. Most players did not have time to climb up, and there's also 4 days, man. A lot of the climbing is done in the last few hours, but the defenses, they're so like cancerous and tanky that the climbing happens. Before that is just the last few hours is where things are moving a lot. When you're in the top, you're getting hit a lot. Like in Europe, I'm getting hit so often in like top 50, and I'm in champion. If I was in legend like before, I'm free to play, so like it's definitely like it's more and more in the struggles as the weeks go by. But like you can be hit so many times, and if like the players that know that they can farm your defense, oh yeah, they're gonna farm you hard. And even like in top 50, like I could be like 40 something or even 50, like I get hit by number 1. That's like just how few players there are in Europe compared to here. So more diversity, more different players that you're going to be fighting. Not always fighting some of the same players. So yeah, it's going to change a lot after those balance. I mean, it could be multiple balance patches. I don't know if they're going to... I guess they're going to release all at once. That's going to be a big blow to a lot of players that heavily invested in those heroes, but they're going to get all the materials back. It's just if you were like free to play and you lucked out and you're like, oh man, I got this